It's Wednesday, July 15th. Welcome aboard to this edition of Barnstable Today. I'm Kevin Friel.
And I'm Andrew Gobiel. Thank you very much for joining us.
We'd like to remind you the meetings we cover are available on demand at the town's website, www.town.barnstable.ma.us.
And on this absolutely beautiful day, we thought we would head on out to one of the true treasures within the town of Barnstable, Sandy Neck, here on the north side. We weren't alone. The town manager and assistant town manager, along with various other town staffers, headed on out here to take a tour of Sandy Neck. This comes in the wake of just a few days ago when Nina Coleman, the head ranger here at Sandy Neck, addressed the Sandy Neck board to talk about the July 4th weekend, the very important July 4th weekend, and a bit of a controversy involving some of the close down of the areas because of the piping plovers.
I was really happy that there weren't any incidences, no medicals, nothing. So we did really well. I did try to contact both the federal and state government about this particularly unusual closure, and they both did not return my phone calls over the holiday weekend. I did finally, I got them on Monday. I was able to speak to both of them. They were very adamant that I could not open the beach, even though the chicks weren't on the beach. And they did. I told them they had to document that for me.
Andrew had a little bit of an opportunity to speak with Nina just before they moved out onto Sandy Neck just a few moments ago. Here's what came.
Nina, we couldn't have picked a better day for you to show off the facility out here. What exactly is going to be going on today, and what do you hope to accomplish?
We're going to take the town manager, assistant town manager, out for a ride on the beach to show them the plover issues that we're having, enjoy the beautiful weather, and also take them out to the what we call the halfway house, which is a town-owned structure that's been repaired by volunteers, and we want to show off the good work that those folks have done for us.
Now, what actually goes on over at the halfway house?
It's an educational facility, so right now we have the Barnstable High School has been using it, and Boston College, and they go out there, and we basically use it as an ecological classroom. It's a remote location, so folks can really get in, right into the ecology of Sandy Neck and spend the night.
Now, I overheard you talking just a moment ago, and we've addressed this as well in the board meeting that we were covering also, that the plover issue created a major close down in some of the areas out here, something that you hadn't seen, at least in your experience here, since the 4th of July. How has that affected the bottom line so far out here?
Well, it remains to be seen. We were closed to 0.3 miles over the 4th of July weekend. Obviously, revenue will be affected by that. It's been a tough spring for anybody, on Cape Cod who's in, the weather is important for that revenue source. But overall, we're going to see if it doesn't bounce back. Now that we're at 1 mile, it should, hopefully, people will come back out and purchase a sticker that maybe they didn't purchase over the 4th of July.
And your description of actually noticing the plovers moving down a mile kind of surprised you. If you could explain that was pretty interesting.
Well, the plover nest was in the interior of the beach, in the dune area, which is kind of unusual. We had a big storm come through, and it wiped out almost all our nests that were still eggs. Not the chicks survived that storm, but of course this nest was in the interior, so it survived. The chicks hatched right before the 4th, and they stayed in the dune area. And then last week they emerged, and they traveled about 0.7 miles. I have never seen chicks travel that far. Very young chicks, and they just conveniently traveled east. They kept moving east. So we were very fortunate. Last weekend we didn't turn away anybody. We welcomed campers, which was great. And we were able to open the beach to 1 mile.
One of the things that we're trying to do with the programming here on Channel 18 is talk about the different unique opportunities available for those with employment of the town. I mean, this is you get to come out here every day and do this. This is great.
Yeah, it's a great job. It really is. It's a beautiful place to work. And I am very fortunate to employ a lot of young people here, people who, they're biology students, people who are interested in criminal justice, and it's really a nice place for them to start. And I really enjoy hanging out with these young people. So we have a really good team here, and I got a lot of compliments on the professionalism over the 4th of July weekend. It was a tough weekend, but the whole staff handled it really well. Well, with public beaches that don't have off-road vehicle access, it's a little different managing those birds. Really what we have to protect by law, by state and federal law, is their nesting area. area. That's not an issue at Calamus. Their nesting area is what we call Mount Calamus, that grassy area that's all dredging spoils. We have a lot of birds up in that area. We fence the whole area off. We put signage up, and we enforce very strictly that people don't utilize that area. So really the only issues would be around the fireworks. Obviously, we're heavily regulated during the fireworks. Dallas's is a little different story. It's a smaller beach. It's a very popular, very beautiful beach, and the area that we have to rope off includes tern habitat. So last year it became quite big. It became I don't want to guess how, but, it took up a substantial amount of the beach. This year was a lot smaller, and in fact, those animals were all what we call predated. We're not exactly sure what got them. If it was, it's fox, raccoon, skunk gets the eggs, gull, crow. There's a whole smorgasbord of animals that can go in there and destroy nests. And over a couple of days during a really rainy part of June, we pretty much lost everything out there. So then now the ropes are very conservative there. We have one pair of plovers that's still in the area, so really there's nothing going on at Douse's.
And one of the other issues as well is, when people see you saying, we're marking this off, and they see the town insignia, it's not actually the town that's doing that. It's federal and state requirements, right?
Very, very heavily regulated. The piping plover is both state and federally listed as threatened. It has so many protections of its reproductive stage of its life that everything that we do at Douse's, Calamus, and obviously here at Sandy Neck has been specifically dictated to us by the state and federal government. So it's kind of an awkward position for town officials because we're holding the line for the state, but it looks like we're the ones making the restrictions, but actually we're being told what the restrictions have to be.
So they make the decision, and then you guys have to uphold it.
And take the abuse for it too, essentially. But people have been really good this year, and it's been really good that Calamus has been in such a small area, so people are understanding.
Also had an opportunity to speak with Richard French, who is the head of the Sandy Neck Board. He's just one of the many volunteers who helped rehab the halfway house. The halfway house, so-called because it's halfway out to the tip of Sandy Neck, and it's been used by researchers for decades. Now, not only have you done that, but this is a jewel. It really is, the entire area. And people come out here and they see it as the beach, and there are so many different components to Sandy Neck.
Well, there are, and Nina runs a fabulous program for hikers, for educational, and what we want to do is with a halfway house, its name, it's not a halfway house for recovering addicts. It's because it's halfway down the beach, and that's its historic name. It was built by the Stevenses, and in late 1800s, with the center section, and the east wing was in 1911. The west wing was 1927. And what we wanted to do was make it more friendly for folks that take and enjoy research and education. And that's going to tie in nicely with what Nina is trying to do here and what the board is trying to do. We're trying to make this a very user-friendly, family-friendly place. And that's what drives us. We want to see the next generation have all the benefits that we've had.
Obviously, those volunteers have put a lot of sweat equity into refurbishing the halfway house, and what a little pinnacle of their success out there in Sandy Neck.
Absolutely, and it's been used, as I had said, for years by researchers, and they're conducting to utilize that as well. It's very, very important. Not only do they utilize the beach out here for beachgoers, but we've got off-road vehicles, we've got researchers out here. It is quite a treasure here in the town of Barnstable. For Kevin Friel, I'm Andrew Gobiel. Thank you very much for joining us.